Hello and welcome to Wagner's Tech Talk. Today we're going to take a look at Gravity Sketch for the Oculus Quest. At the time this video was created, it was still in beta, and that is what I will be showing you today. Although it will be released very soon, so I wouldn't expect anything you see here to differ from the release version. The goal of this video is to demonstrate many of the capabilities that Gravity Sketch for the Oculus Quest has to offer, and to take it up a notch, we'll design a model in Gravity Sketch and 3D print it. I will also make the model we create together available on Thingiverse for anyone who wants to download and print it for themselves. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, let's launch Gravity Sketch. This is your startup space. The startup space includes these three tools: New Sketch, Save Sketches, and Gallery from featured artists. You can choose any one of these if you want to load them up and take a look, but we're going to go ahead and click New Sketch and get started. We'll press the Y button on the left controller to bring up the main menu. Here we have New Sketch, Save Sketches, Export, Sketchfab, and take a screenshot. We'll go into Settings, and the Mirror tool is one we're going to use a lot, and Grid. Let's go ahead and take a look at the grid real quick, since this is a feature we're not going to explore that much in this video. Basically, you can draw a line from point to point in 3D space. This gives you some incredible precision for creating your models, so you can just draw a line from point A to point B until you create an object. It's pretty cool. Now we'll take the grid off, and you can see the model that you created. Also, with the left touch controller, you can go back in time just by rotating counterclockwise. In the workspace settings, you have 4 different presets for you. Here's a dark environment. Here's the warehouse environment. Looks pretty neat. And then you have the studio environment. And then down at the bottom you also have custom settings, so if you'd like to change those settings you can as well. There's also a flashlight that you can point in any direction. I'm going to press the A button on the right controller to bring up the color wheel. And we'll pick a color and draw with that particular color. We'll bring up the color wheel again, and notice you can push in and out to change the darkness of the color. This is very cool and wasn't exactly obvious the first time I tried it. So now we can draw with the ink tool this interesting shape. You can create some very cool effects. Now we'll use the left touch controller to go back in time. Now we'll bring up some additional settings for the ink tool. We'll just tap the icon again, and here you can see there's speed, pressure, and some other tools down here that you can experiment with. I'm going to change the thickness, and now we're going to draw with a thicker ink. Very cool. Now I'm going to move around in 3D space and check it out. And I'm going to click and hold the left grab button so I can move the object around in 3D space. Next, we'll take a look at the stroke tool. And the stroke tool is very similar to ink tool, but it just gives you a really nice free-handed method of drawing in 3D space. So I'm just going to draw this rather crude looking 3-dimensional box, and we'll click the left hold or grab button and move it around. From here I'll just press the B button a few times to go back. Just a quick way of undoing. Now we'll go in and change some additional properties here. Let's go ahead and set it for point mode. And now we're just going to draw a few points. I'm just pressing the trigger button as I drop these points in space. And then when you get to the end, just double tap the trigger and it'll close off the object. Now I'm going to click and hold and grab. While holding the transparent sphere on top of the object, you can find some other options on the left controller. For instance, I want to go into point mode. That will allow me to modify these points. There's snap, mirrored, round caps, and various other options here. Let's go ahead and change the shape. And you can take a look at that. We can make the thickness a little bit longer. And if you take that transparent red sphere, you can grab and move the points in any direction you wish. So you can get some extreme precision here in creating your models. Okay, so now let's switch over to the revolve tool. We'll click on the tool, and I'm going to click the grab button in order to change my axis. So I click and hold and move it where I want it. Now we'll change the color to blue. And before we start drawing, let's go ahead and take a look at the properties on the revolve tool. You have point mode, all kinds of different options, different shapes that you can use. I'm going to go ahead and change the thickness. I'm going to make this fairly thick. And we'll start from the bottom and just move away from the axis point and draw upward and create some interesting shape. Looks like a lamp, pretty much. Pretty cool. Now we're going to click and grab it with the grab tool, and then change to point edit, and we're going to modify the points a little bit. Very cool. So it gives you a lot of precision here. You can make the shapes exactly how you want it. Now let's switch over to the surface tool. And the surface tool is pretty interesting. I'll be honest, I haven't quite mastered this one, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of options for you, point edit and so forth. So let's go ahead and just draw. You use two hands and hold the trigger button at the same time, and then we can click and grab this object and move it around. This would be great for creating side panels to some kind of object that you want to design. Now we're going to switch over here and change the color. And we are now on the volume tool. This is my favorite tool, actually. You can create just about anything with the volume tool. It's very handy. It creates a solid object. It's a lot like molding with clay. Now we're going to grab the objects and just move them around. You can adjust the size of your grab object from the right side, right touch controller. You can increase the size of the sphere. We can just move things around. You can change the scale of the objects. Just take the sphere and press both trigger buttons to scale to whatever size you want. Now we're going to switch over to the primitives. We'll go ahead and click the square here, and with both hands you can size up the object however you want. Now we'll pick the cone primitive and change the color for that. And with both hands, we'll position the cone where we want it. And we can grab and move. And we'll do the same. We'll create a sphere this time. So we'll select the sphere primitive. And we'll just place it right here in the box. Very cool. Now let's just have a little bit of fun manipulating objects here. Place the cone in here, move it around, position it exactly how we want, and there we go. Let's go ahead and take this object, move it over into our red box. Let's scale it down a little bit. And there we go. Looky there. I have no idea what this is, but, well, we made it. now we're going to have some fun. Let's go ahead and go to the mirror tool, and we'll go ahead and set the axis. And we are going to draw a cartoon character, the Wagner's Tech Talk dude. We'll go ahead and start out by drawing his pants. And with the mirror tool, everything I draw on one side will get reflected over on the other. So we'll go ahead and pick, in this case, this cylinder. And these are going to be the pants legs for our cartoon character. And now we're going to pick the sphere, and we're going to change the color. These are going to be his shoes. So we're going to go ahead and size up the shoes however we want. And there we go. Starting to look like a little character. Now we're going to outline it in this white trim and kind of highlight the shoe a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and draw a couple of shoelaces just to give it a nice little effect. Okay. Now notice it remembers the colors that you selected down below the color palette. Now we're going to use the volume tool to sculpt the top area of the pants. So we'll just pick a point and start sculpting. Just going to kind of trace around the edges here of the cylinder. Pick either one of them. It'll be reflected on both sides. And we'll just stretch it out and kind of make it look like a pair of pants. Now we are going to turn off the mirroring, and we're going to make a guide for our t-shirt that this character is going to wear. So use the cylinder. Now we'll go back to mirror mode and volume, and we'll go ahead and give this character some shape. I mean, we don't want it to be flat and boring. We want to give it some volume here and make it look somewhat like a t-shirt. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and make the shoulders. We'll just draw that out, sculpt it, bring it back around. Ah, it's looking pretty good. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and pick this color for his arms. We'll go ahead and draw out some arms here. And we'll go ahead and start on his hand. There we go. I'll go ahead and give him some fingers. So I'm making it very close to his pants, and that's for a reason. It makes it a little easier for 3D printing. There'll be less support material required. Now we'll go ahead and draw a neck for our character. Alright. Now we're going to turn off mirror mode, and we're going to go select the sphere, primitive, and we're going to draw a head shape. Yeah, that looks good. We'll go ahead and grab the head and put it on his neck. Hey! Now we have the start of our cartoon character. Let's go ahead and draw some eyes for it. How about that? We'll go ahead and select black here for his pupil. Drop that on there. And I'm going to hold and make a copy of it. There we go. And now we are going to pick this color for his nose. I'm glad that it remembers the colors, because I'd never pick the right color if it didn't. So now we're going to sculpt out his nose. Pretty cool. Works for me. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and sketch out his hair. There we go. And I'm just using the volume tool here just to give it a little bit of form before I add a little bit more detail. And we'll go ahead and draw some lines here. Notice I did take the mirror off, so we don't have a mirror version of the lines that I'm drawing on both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and speed it up here because it takes a little while to draw a whole bunch of lines. So we're just going to give it an interesting look. So it looks kind of like hair. Alright, now we need to draw his mouth, so we're going to go ahead and drop the thickness down, and we'll go ahead and select the stroke tool after we pick the color. And we'll go ahead and draw a mouth. There we go. We'll give him some eyebrows. Looks pretty good to me. Now we'll go ahead and take a picture of our character. Wagner's TikTok dude. Do a portrait mode shot here. Hit the button, take the picture. Now in order to 3D print it, we need to export this object. So we'll go to the export tool and we'll give the character a name. So we'll just type over this, type WTT dude. And hit the check mark to save it. Now our object's exported. Let's print it. Now we'll go ahead and plug it up into our computer, like so. If you see any prompts that pop up when you look through the headset that say allow, go ahead and click allow, and you'll be able to access the Oculus Quest. So we'll go to the internal shared storage by double clicking, and you'll see Gravity Sketch. Double click here, and we'll go to exported sketches, and here we see our Wagner's TikTok dude. We'll copy it over to our computer, and we'll right click and extract, and now we have these two files. The OBJ is the one we're going to use. I'm going to load them in a mesh mixer and run this tool here to go ahead and clean things up and make sure it's good and ready for 3D printing. I do recommend using this tool. Might save you a little bit of time in manipulating it and making sure the geometry is correct. And we'll save it. Now I'm going to load it up into my slicer program. And we'll go ahead and position the character how we want. And one thing I want to do is see his feet are kind of rounded, so I'm going to use the cut tool in my splicer. Go ahead and remove that section so his feet are nice and flat. Now we're going to 3D print him, and he's going to town. Notice all the artifacts there from the 3D print. Use a good filament, folks, and you'll have a character like this. He turned out pretty good, didn't he? You can see his hair strokes. Yeah, it's not a perfect print. You can see a few little defects here and there, but overall, man, that is so cool. Being able to take an object from virtual reality and bring it into reality. Now here's a character I've drawn since I was a kid, and I call him Harry. I actually did the same thing with him, and he turned out pretty good. It is incredibly intuitive to take an idea or concept and recreate it in virtual reality using Gravity Sketch. I hope that what you've seen here has been informative and interesting to you. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to see videos on this or other projects, please click the subscribe button. And as always, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. I like it.